Hello, everybody. Good time zone. Welcome to another 12 frames per second in the boyfriend arc, as it is now being referred to. I am Hex, and I am playing Matthias today, who has a very big axe to grind, with another person here. Hey, other two people, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'll go for alphabetical stuff. Hi, I'm Kraken. I'm playing the person Matthias currently has beef with, aka Craigory.
Yeah.
He does not know the
Yeah,
storm that's coming.
you got a big storm coming. Hi, I'm RJ. I'm playing Decimal, Weaver of Fate. Uh,
Mediator.
he is perhaps unwisely tapping in for mediator position for this upcoming shit show, which I'm sure will only go perfectly. Certainly.
Only perfectly, only fine. Um,
I don't know what you could possibly be insinuating. It's the perfect role.
this surely will go well. Bit of backstory. Matthias has thus learned, I guess we would call it his origins?
Yeah.
Um,
Yay.
Yay, Decimal told him that in a big old fuck it moment. And now he's a little angry with the people of the house for keeping this from him, but because Lynn is currently basically bedbound with from pain, he's not about to go scream at her. Uh that would be one, just incredibly rude and in poor taste. Um and two, he he's the Craigory's right there.
He is right there.
So
Or
it's
he
it's
will
one of those,
shortly be.
he will shortly be right there. Um Matthias actually asks Decimal. I think this is immediately following the whole like confession and everything. So this is immediately following let's try this again. Like it's still walk day basically.
Oh wow, we're going immediately there. Okay.
Matthias, like, he's got to ride the momentum, otherwise he's going to chicken out of being mad.
I think that's how this is going because otherwise, yeah, exactly. He'll chicken out, and Craigory will corner him and want to know, hey, how did it go? How did it go? And he's just he can't drop that and then sit on this other knowledge. Like he can't do that. He's got to get it all out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so he asks Decimal because it basically it boils down to, I need to talk to Craigory about this, but I'm scared. Can you please come with me?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Um, yeah, no, he would agree.
Yeah.
Uh, he is. There is a brief moment where he is like, oh boy, internally, not out loud, because he's got a stake in both of these idiots.
He
But
does.
maybe that will be a good thing ultimately, and won't go horribly wrong, and Craigory won't see this as someone banning against him again.
This'll be
You
fine.
know,
It'll be great. Trust the process.
Yeah. Yep. Um.
Trust the process. It'll be fine.
Trust the process. Trust the process. So Matthias is visibly steeling himself for the very short walk back to Network, which is just next door to the cafe.
yeah, God. Yeah. Didn't go anywhere far.
Yeah. And he'll open the door to Network and like, motion for Decimal to come on in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. bribes Network with a shiny to leave him alone because this is important. We need to not have shenanigans right now. Hey, Craigory, what are you doing?
I was just wondering, like, rolling perception, because I think a funny thing would be is if he doesn't realize Decimal's there for, so immediately accost with, so how'd it go?
Oh, okay. Do you want me to roll stealth then?
Oh my god.
If Decimal would sneak into this, go for it.
He wouldn't. So I guess that I suppose actually hang on, do you have you do have boots. Okay, so you're rolling perception against Decimal's passive moving stealth of 24.
Christ!
It's only 24 when he's moving because he's got boots of Elvenkind.
Uh-huh.
Normally it's a 19.
Yeah, and Craigory truly is
Got it.
not expecting to see him, so he's just straight up not looking. So let's see what this actual number is.
Oh boy.
17 plus... Okay, see if this is regular, that would make it.
What did he get?
But a 19 is not going to do it this time.
Oh, nope.
His ass does not spot the shadow.
Yeah, that's literally it. He's so he has tunneled in on Matthias, and he sees nothing else at all. Only this changeling.
Beelining. Hey, welcome back, Good Walk. Good Walk? Good?
Very enlightening. Very enlightening.
That could be good or bad, honestly.
And Craigory, it's... You're actively intuiting, so I guess roll me a funny little insight just to like, what are the vibes? What
Fucking hell.
vibes here?
7.
Vibes are, eh? Matthias is hard to read right now, actually.
Which is unusual, but like, you know what? Craigory's just like, he's come over, he's patting Matthias on the shoulder, just like, hey, listen, I get it, like, it's all new complicated thing, like, you know, you guys are allowed to take your time on whatever this ends up being, yeah? So don't get discouraged. Pat, pat, pat.
I'm glad we have your seal of approval.
Well, yes, obviously. Again, whatever ends up being. Hi, Decimal.
Visible reaction for that.
He's such a swerve into, oh, hi, Decimal.
He's immediately like, so should I like, I can leave you two alone. Should I go? I can go. He's already shuffling out.
No, no, actually, I need to talk with you.
Oh, okay. Here, your room, what's up?
Where that he didn't think that far ahead.
Let's go with Matthias' room for the moment.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And he'll lead the way a little awkwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Decimal's coming with, and that's a little, like, the circumstances of this are getting strange.
Does he want to roll insight on Decimal?
Oh
He'll try.
He can try.
You will have advantage because you have the link.
We'll take that plus 2. That'll be a 17.
Hey, that's not bad.
Not bad. So, okay. So with a 17, Decimal is, you know, also normally hard to read, but with with the strings, there's very much this air of anticipation. He feels like something is going to happen, and he's kind of bracing himself for it a little bit. There's something underneath. There's some kind of minor chord underneath that you can't quite place the meaning of. But it feels resolute almost as much as it feels restless. Have fun with that.
You know,
Interpret that as you
Gregory's
wish.
beginning to get the funny feeling this may not be related to the whole drama he thought was going on. That's interesting.
So, Matthias leads the way into his bedroom. I would say he motions to sit, but I don't think any of these three boys are going to sit.
Yeah.
Like, at all. So he once, Decimal and Craigory step in, he'll close the door. I don't think he latches it. I think he just kind of closes it most
Yeah.
of the way. And then he immediately, like, he doesn't pace like Craigory, but he's fidgeting. And he seems to be fighting with how to start this.
I think very quietly, Decibel's just gonna go to network. Please keep this conversation from disturbing Lynn and the others if you can. Because he has a feeling this is gonna get loud.
Yeah, that's fair.
Good.
That's fair. It could. It very well could.
Gregory's
Thanks.
looking at this and, little like sort of playful demeanor as it started out has faded away to where he's just going to outright ask, okay, what's wrong? What happened? What's going wrong?
Well, uh, um, so we talked, and he motions between himself and Decimal. Um, and, I, learned something that's, I, that's, I, he told me about the thrall.
I'm trying to debate whether this is like a wisdom roll or possibly a deception.
Oh. Okay.
Either way, Decibel's rolling contesting insight.
I'm sure.
So is Matthias.
I'm like, what direction
Oh,
is he going
honey.
with this? Is this a hide
Okay.
a reaction, or is this a just calm himself? It's probably more the latter, which would be more of the whiz. Let's go that. That's make that a save. That's +6.
It's what?
15 +6 is what?
Oh, hey, not bad.
Not bad. Like,
Actually, pretty damn good.
pretty damn good. There's like a sharp glance would be cut at Decimal, which can be basically summarized as bruh, but it's otherwise like a pretty muted reaction. There's no like flinch or anything. Just like, okay. Like, just to that, what scope are we talking here?
He told me everything, Craigory. maybe not. And then he kind of winces, like, maybe not everything, but
Yeah, everything's actually a pretty ambiguous answer, but how well this was gonna it was it's gonna happen eventually. Like, may as well, right? Right. Uh are you here with questions, or are you here to have it out?
I, and then he stops because he had been fully prepared to have it out and be angry. But the way that Craigory is taking this is like kind of taking the wind out of his sails.
There's
Like,
it's largely resignation. The wisdom save helped with an initial, like, almost anger reaction. So we've kind of skipped a step into annoyed resignation, and
I,
you are allowed to be mad.
he's fighting for words and he can't seem to find them. Uh and I think that's he makes a frustrated sound, which is I think the closest you've ever seen him to angry. But I think part of it is he's just mad the wind was taken out of his sails because he was all geared up to be furious, and now this is like not what he expected.
Oh, we could still get there. Just there's ways to get there.
Yeah. I want to know why.
Why? Which? Why are you? Or why did this happen? Or
Yes, yes. Yes.
great
I,
question. I don't have that answer.
so you don't know that. Oh, would anybody?
I assume Matthias has kind of told Craigory about retrospect and the whole
Oh yeah.
town in the desert.
Oh yeah,
Craigory's just kind of
absolutely.
throws hands up and he was like, well, I would think if anyone had that answer, it would be, I guess, Lady Retrospect, like the desert goddess or whatever.
Maybe don't be a little flippant about gods here, Craigory.
He's a wizard. He's going to be flippant about gods.
uh,
I don't. I can't give you the answer of why this has happened now, or why paths have crossed. I don't know. Okay.
I also want to know why you kept it from me.
You weren't ready.
How do you? You don't get to decide that, Craigory.
You honestly think that would have gone well? Like, Matthias, let's face it. Look, you can't really wander around outside it without, like, company yet. That's not comfortable yet. And you want to throw in like an identity crisis on top of that, on top of the already general identity crisis going on? Like, there's things to get used to first before you pile on the shit.
This is so... Craigory, you know that that more than anything that I have been looking for who I am. And you knew this whole time. And you didn't tell me.
It wasn't going to be for everything.
How long would it have been?
Soon?
If Decimal hadn't said anything, how long would you have waited? When would I have been ready for you?
Kind of like tight facial expression because... I mean, go ahead and roll insight, Matthias. I know your insight is crazy, but go for it.
Sure, let's see.
It does not roll insight on the both of you.
Yes!
Okay. So that's a 2, so it's actually a 10, so that's a 23.
Yeah, okay. Matthias also got a 23.
Craigory does not have a definitive answer on when would Matthias have been ready, and he knows that he doesn't have a definitive answer, and he knows that that's an annoying answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's kind of caught out in that, but it's still something he, like... He basically believes what he's saying. Like, that would have been a lot of shit to throw on Matthias when he was fresh out of Key's blood ring bullshit and getting used to a new town and handling agoraphobia and like
he believes he's right, and in the meta narrative he is right, but
doesn't help any feelings of betrayal.
Yeah. And Matthias kind of like, when Craigory doesn't answer, he just kind of holds his hands out like in a C kind of gesture, like... As for Matthias on the insight into him, yeah, it's definitely like, it's not quite full on betrayal, but it is upset, and like it's very much a how dare you think, like, how dare you get to decide what I can and can't like do after... I mean, it's basically an unspoken after everything I've been through, how dare you decide what I can and can't know kind of deal.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Although he should probably step in, but like both sides have a point.
They both have a very good point. And Matthias just... I feel like he's... One second. Meshi, get out.
At interruption. Which is what I'm hoping for Decibel, but he's fucking kind of just standing there.
He's here to stop things from exploding. Presumably. Not quite there yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay, sorry about that.
ain't nothing.
Matthias just needs a warm body in here to like be a support to his backbone.
Yeah, pretty much. He's writing the energy, I guess, of this, and he kind of surges on ahead a little recklessly, because God, he doesn't... Jesus, oh boy. But eventually he settles on, you don't get to decide what I can and can't know. I mean, hell's bells, for the last, like, I don't know how long he's been here. Uh,
A while.
yeah, since I moved in, I can tell that there's been something unspoken this whole time. It's like there's been eggshells that y'all have been walking around. How do you think that makes me feel? And now I learned that part of it was because you thought I was going to become a monster?
Didn't they didn't know you in the beginning. Like, there's necessary precautions, you know? The only context we had was the monster. And now we have more information. And we know you. And I'm, you ever heard, ignorance is bliss is kind of the thing here, but also ignorance is safety.
Ignorant. It is not, Craigory.
You haven't met them. And I don't want you to.
About that.
What?
No, that's out of character.
Hex comment.
That's a hex comment, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck,
They don't know you exist. We're going to keep it that way.
with what Decimal has told me, that may not be a thing that you can actually promise.
It's something that can be for as long as possible.
Maybe I need to meet them though.
Trust me, there is nothing good out of meeting with or engaging with or entertaining someone like them.
Matthias actually gives a pointed look to you, Decimal. Mr. went to Thrall to get a reading.
That's not quite true.
It's one thing, I think, for Decimal can have a little stupid as a treat, just on the fact that he rarely is. It's use. That was not a general statement that, like, you specifically, Matthias, just take it from me. Do not engage with your double.
Roll insight for me, Craigory.
Oh boy.
Goody. Good.
We'll get in on that.
Yeah,
That is a dirty 20, thank God.
That's another 2, so it's another 10, so it's another 23.
Jesus, Decimal, you're rolling so bad.
Colin is really fucking putting in the work today.
He was already exhausted from the previous conversation.
You call Thrall Matthias's double, and he looks stricken.
That's not correct, Craigory. They are at this point separate people. As separate as myself and Raga.
Yeah. That's you know that's not what I meant, right? Like, you and Rager, Matthias and Thrall, me and Henrik, like, same starting point. At least Rager, presumably, isn't looking to fuck you over. Presumably. So maybe just on the off chance of that, we shouldn't engage with that guy either.
I'm not going to have a choice in the matter. And this isn't about me. This is about Matthias. Matthias likely also won't have a choice in the matter. We've known for a while that Thor's going to bring this fight to Halloween Town. Everyone will need to be involved.
Wouldn't it be better that I know what I'm going up against instead of going in blind? I can better help if I know what we're up against.
That is also a good point.
That's entirely presuming that you would... Deep breath from Craigory, just steepled fingers. Just... Personally, I think it would just have simplified things if just Thrall never became aware of this. It was never a factor. There was never another target. Why get involved at all?
Matthias looks at you almost like you're stupid. Because I care about you. And if I can help, I'm going to. And if...
I've got a gun for you.
You don't know that. And that's only if I go as myself. And to prove his point, he does the one thing he never does, and changes forms.
For
And
fun,
there's a
what is the
dark-skinned elf. It is a dark-skinned elf, the one that he tends to favor. But it's also one that you've never seen Thrall take.
Also, if we're going to be throwing out accusations, chances are the Thrall will either focus on myself or Asclepius, because we are currently the objects of his ire, of their ire.
Yeah, and we shouldn't give them another possible subject.
Craigory, if they find out that I'm a changeling, that's all they're going to know, and that isn't enough to cause them any kind of reason to focus on me. Not that I'd think they even would.
Hey, Matthias, you want to roll a fun little insight?
Oh boy!
Which, extending that to decimal as well, of course.
That is an 18
Decimal.
plus 9, which is a
Jesus.
27.
Fucking
Decimal,
hell.
no, you don't need it. But if you roll another fucking 2...
That would be really funny.
It's 12! It's 12! It's 12! It's 12!
Okay.
25.
Matthias is throwing out these arguments of like, I can literally be in disguise. That is literally what I am built for, even if it's been trained out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Craigory is quite scared of this Thrall person, and these are arguments being thrown down, and there is reason to them, for sure. There is argument to be made, like, disguise, great. Just whether it's rational or not, his mind just immediately goes, they're gonna know. They're gonna find out. They're powerful, they're smart, they're, same base as you, yet not, like, his estimation and fear of their skill is perhaps heightening the danger to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is fear there, just of them.
Hmm. I think seeing that, Matthias calms down a little, like, the the big roiling anger that he had is it's lessening, and he exhales and tries to word this in a way that could it's he's doing his best, man.
Yeah.
When he just says, I, Craigory, if there's a chance, I don't want I don't want my nightmares to be of not being there again.
Decimal does kind of grimace a little bit and look away.
Decimal and Craigory grimacing in unison.
I if I can help, and I I don't know why, okay? But I think I can. I feel like I can. I I can't explain it. Which is a little bit tiny bit of a lie, but like
It smells like cleric bullshit to Craigory. He'll basically take that as kind of base value. He's like, cleric bullshit.
it's a little bit of cleric bullshit and
Feelings,
a little bit of
intuition.
cleric yeah. A little bit of cleric bullshit, a little bit of Decimal did a reading that basically said things would turn out better if he actually did show up. But he doesn't know, like, he doesn't know, because Craigory is wizard, he doesn't know how much stock Craigory puts in the cards.
Funny.
Listen, he understands Taroka, he understands the meanings of the cards. He also knows that, you know, Decimal does this as a job, so like it's not always predicting an act like it's not always predicting an accurate future, but more of a generic future that people can apply to themselves. So, like, you know, he doesn't know how much stock Craigory puts in when Decimal does readings and they seem to be predicting the future in some way. So he's not going to say that Decimal did a reading.
That's fair and valid of him. For the other character, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, Craigory takes Decimal's readings. You know, he knows those are real, and Decimal is skilled.
Mm-hmm.
Thrall obviously also is, but like just kind of the general layperson, there would be a skepticism, but
Yeah. Yeah.
be sniffing around for if there's actually magic happening. But as is, Craigory is tense. He's certainly being shorter than he would like to be, especially when looking back on this. It's not doing the pacing, hasn't been, but vibrating a little bit as this has been going down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what now?
You catch him off guard. He just kind of blinks, like, what?
Cat's out of the bag.
Uh,
Like, I guess my
I
real
mean,
question is, I don't think you're going to do this because at this point, I'd like to think I know you better, but you know, one of the dangers of putting this kind of thing out early was are you the kind of person who would just run off immediately, go to try to confront them, I guess?
Matthias, oh, go ahead.
Craigory, I wouldn't have said anything if I thought it was foolish. If you can't trust Matthias, at least trust my own self-preservation instinct.
Just gotta make sure.
The look Matthias gives you, Craigory, basically just kind of says, "Have you seen me?"
Shock can make people act in wild ways.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
Decibel's just going to very, flatly look at you and then tap his cane on the ground twice. Like, you think I wouldn't take him out at the knees if I had to?
Especially because, yeah, he has been handing me, what if I went and got my fortune told?
You have a perfectly good fortune teller right fucking here. Don't pull a decimal.
You have a perfectly
Yeah.
good one, and you have an amateur one right here.
But maybe he wants to get an idea of who he's dealing with. Anyway, he's not doing that. I'm kneecapping him. No.
You see why Craigory thought it was a valid question to ask.
Well, for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Matthias seems to think for a minute, and then he sighs, and he says, "Whatever discussions that you're going to be having, I want in on."
Well, now that, again, cat's in the bag, I think that's only fair.
And should anything happen, I'm I'm going to help. And he had to force that out, but by God, he said it.
I'm wondering, what... I'm, looking at what's going on. It's like, is this an insight from Craigory on Craigory? Is that what I'm about to do?
Oh boy.
Some fucking self-reflection?
Okay, I'm here for it.
Like, is he gonna make a connection?
Let's go.
Or at history roll? That
might
saying it's insight on himself is a funny way to word it, but it's also just, you call it a history roll.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. The dice wanted this. Jesus.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Okay. Hey!
Nice.
For a total of 24. Craigory, as noted, has not been doing his more typical sort of pacing or frenetic energy. He's been more tightened into himself and contained and maybe intense and focused. So there's kind of a different body language reaction going on, which is interesting. But I think part of that helps him realize that in being confronted with this, quite out of the blue, honestly, and he's kind of been cribbing on someone else's energy to deal with this, and he's realizing it's... Oh boy, he's borrowing the head of the Wizard Guild's energy. The buckling down on something. A staunch defense and controlling what information someone has access to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of, like, as he's making this connection, who he's kind of unconsciously fallen back on echoing. Like, how is he dealing with this? I think it's kind of just a small 404 blue screen.
They get to watch the toon blue screen for a second.
Okay.
Craigory?
But yeah, you're in. If you have questions now or later, I'll answer those.
And Matthias kind of sags. And he nods. And he just says, okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
Somewhat shaky smile. Welcome to the shit show.
That's... You're not the first person to call it that.
I think it's accurate.
What little I know, it... Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say it's a fairly good summation.
Okay. Okay. And now that that has gotten out of the way, he is a little awkward standing there because now he doesn't know what to do.
Freaker's also awkward in not knowing what to do. He's just had a moment of realizing a hypocrisy, and all that sort of, like, intenseness from before has dissipated to, like, well, shit, what now?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we've solved an immediate... All right. Yeah, Matthias is into the fold now. What was I
Yeah,
doing?
exactly. Huh.
Like, I still think I was basically right, but also...
Yeah.
Something like that. I may briefly co up with the conversation.
Yes.
So, Raga is apparently the face of entropy.
Matthias doesn't know what that means, like the significance of that.
Yeah, you can practically see the capital letters. Craigory should have something of a better idea. How does he feel about this?
blank, blank. He thought the only, active ones out there were peace, death, and ruin.
Had the one stood right in fucking front of you, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that...
So he's not dead? What? How does that work?
He definitely
When
died.
did you...
You recall how you told me that, oh, about 2 weeks ago today, actually, for a period of time, our connection was entirely silent?
Yeah, it was weird. My brain was really empty for the first time in a long time, and it was actually not good. You worried me.
Roll insight with advantage for me, both of you.
Oh, I need that advantage. Holy shit.
Thank God for the advantage.
All right.
19.
Plus 9 equals. There you go.
Cool. Yeah.
27.
You both of you see him like briefly wrestle with like how his toon nature manifests, which is usually an acerbic wit. Briefly wrestle with the very, very big opening Craigory just left there to be the butt of the joke. Craigory, you can practically hear the words "wheel brain is always empty," so that's a bit of a surprise. Without them even needing to be said. He doesn't say it. He doesn't manage to fight it back, but the opportunity was there. He was being so brave for not taking it.
So brave. Craigory doesn't know the exact content of whatever comment is going to be made, but like the look level is just like a ha yuck yuck. Wrap it up.
Yes, well, that was because I accidentally got an audience with the weave, drowned briefly, and then discovered a few things, including that. He's just kind of casually looking out the window, trying to pretend he's okay with all of that.
Yep. God, if he were inclined, Matthias would be bumping his shoulder, but
I'm sorry, you had to drown to get there? Fucked up.
Why is that the thing that you choose? Yes, I did.
Listen, you already dropped the entropy bomb. So does that interesting piece of information, don't like how you got it, is this a bad thing?
That has yet to be seen. There's something of an alignment for each of the fates. Entropy is not a positive fate.
Matthias looks confused.
It's not the worst of them. We've
Crick
already met the worst
snorts.
of them, but but it's not typically inclined towards helpfulness. Think of him somewhat as the bait light on a deep sea fish.
Matthias no longer looks confused.
Craigory's having a weird mental moment of like he knows what Regor looked like because of the likeness appearing in Fate's Tangled Strings, and now he's smashing that with an anglerfish and be like, wow, okay. So the cute is a trap.
Something like that.
Huh.
is this more of a, like, ruin situation where he's not kind of out and about willy-nilly?
He doesn't have a corporeal form. I'm in his corporeal form. Now that I think about it, I'm somewhat of the thrall to his Matthias.
Head goes to hands immediately.
Not a particularly pleasant image. Hmm.
Matthias kind of blinks. I'm pretty sure the way you worded it to me, you still have a soul?
Jury's out on that front, but
That's not very reassuring.
Craig,
well, he is a
Decimal be able to
redhead.
see this. Craiger's also biting back the easy opening of the soulless bastard.
He is a redhead.
Hmm. You think if Craigory said that, Matthias just gives him a look.
In parallel with Decimal behaving himself, Craigory also manages to behave himself.
Okay, good. What does... I guess what does this mean, then?
I have no idea. Although I suppose it means we've got all the most neutral fates.
You know what? Craigory would say this aloud. It means the weave is a bitch.
Okay. Unfortunately, he does manage to bite back the snort of laughter that comment draws.
Matthias snorts for him. I admit the more that I learn about the weave decimal, the more unimpressed I feel.
Somehow I think that tends to be the universal reaction.
I feel like that's minor heresy to say, though.
Well, they're not. It's not so much a person. It doesn't really have feelings that you can hurt. So, go for it.
Besides, I'm a wizard. I'm committing heresies every day or whatever.
Yes, that flat ass certainly commits some kind of sin.
What? Of all the things, that?
The scream Matthias scrumped. He has looked away from Craigory. His head is in his hands.
I can
Just
make fun of that ass because I'm your patron.
there comes a point where I begin to reconsider some things. Like, huffy,
You're
huffy.
stuck with me now.
Yeah, and you're stuck with me. It goes both ways.
Matthias, very quietly but loud enough for Decimal to hear. Why are you staring at his ass?
Unfortunately, I see everything that passes into my vision. I don't have a choice in the matter, and it sucks just as much as you would think it does. Besides, when he insists on wearing what the fuck do you call them? Short jorts with rhinestones embezzled on them. Ugh. It's like watching a car wreck. You just can't look away.
Someone's just jealous, thank you very much.
Matthias is
More
losing his
sticks?
fucking...
No. No, thank you.
Matthias is losing his mind.
There is a distinct satisfaction in the strings of the back of Decibel's head, like that's exactly the outcome he was hoping for.
Craigory, meanwhile, playing anxiously. I make it look good, what can I say?
You really don't.
Well, excuse me if I don't perhaps take your opinion to be the be-all, end-all. You know what, Matthias? Maybe you need to settle this for us.
Oh no.
You're really putting this disaster in the hot seat.
Yeah? I think we need an unbiased opinion.
There is nothing unbiased about Matthias.
We need a fresh opinion.
Are you really subjecting him to the mall outfit, Craigory?
Craigory is in fact moving to leave the room to quick change Superman style.
Oh my
What is happening?
He's about to inflict a massacre of fashion upon your eyes, and I do apologize for that.
Oh. Okay. Alright.
Craigory opens the not quite closed door, leaves it. He has exited the frame, which means like a second later he is back. And it's the mall outfit, baby.
It is the mall outfit, and Matthias is he is staring. He is beside himself. He is gobsmacked. He makes prayer hands.
Craigory does like a little peace sign pose. Like an
I
anime.
I I have no words.
Great, so we'll call that a 10 out of 10.
No. Please change back. Please. He is sounding so desperate.
Craigory sniffs and turns around to leave the room, which means that flat ass sounds spicy, walks back out.
Yep.
With
Matthias' voice.
fucking what was it written on the back of it?
I don't remember.
Oh god. Hang on.
Hold on. I can find it.
It was I think it was something about a mistake. I don't remember.
Hold on, I'm in the right area, time period. Where are you?
Oh my god.
Where is who in the right mind to put? There we go.
The other avenue. Point is, bright red booty shorts, white words emblazoned on that non-existent ass.
Hazard to society. They said hazard to society.
Hazard
and
to
the crop top
society.
said disaster in the making.
That was it, yeah.
We're also going the variation
leaning...
where the red suspenders are over the shirt.
Yep. Matthias leaning over to Decimal. My god, you weren't kidding.
It was not.
That is certainly a hazard to society.
Read the short, please.
Huh?
He said, "Don't read the shorts, please," kind of helplessly giggling.
Too late, he did. Oh my god.
Craigory
He
has
has to
returned.
look
He is.
away. He is looking away. He is not looking. His face is red.
Well, luckily for Matthias, Craigory is now normal. And he's doing a sarcastic bow.
Thank you for that enlightening little detour.
Well, it was probably needed, frankly.
I
And
never
now you
want to
know
see
my
that
top outfit.
again.
Fine, fine. Something easier on the eyes next time.
Please.
We can tone down the red.
Red looks good on you, but maybe less booty shorts.
Craigory's nodding thoughtfully. Got it. Assless chaps.
The noise he makes.
Tea kettle.
Yeah. And then it's just a desperate no.
Is this not what you wanted?
This is not what he wanted.
This is what Craigory wanted. Tension diffused.
Yeah.
We have done something worse.
You have done something worse, but you have also diffused the situation, so it's all okay.
Decibel at this point, by the way, just has his head in his fucking hands.
Mm-hmm. Understandable, honestly. Oh, excuse me.
Honestly, this fulfills Craigory's big goal of diffuse situation enough that people are now no longer on the edge of exploding a little, maybe. I don't know where he goes from here. He's just happy that this is ended in not tears.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not a bad, like, yeah.
Yeah. Are we zooming out then on Craigory's fashion crimes?
We might just, yeah.
We may just zoom out on Craigory's fashion crimes, yeah.
We did it!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Hooray! I'm gonna
Man.
stop the recording.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop mine too. Bye!
Bye-bye.